Welcome. Thank you very much for attending today. And we will have a 10 minutes more with Dr. to present.
Good afternoon, members of committees and everyone. My name is Nguyễn Ngọc An, and I will present my thesis titled Analysis of Errors Made by Grade 11 Vietnamese Students in Writing Paragraphs. Here is my outline part. The first part is introduction, page down its content of writing skill in the academic context, and the challenges for Vietnamese DLS students in grammar, spelling, vocabulary, and provision by self-researchers. Besides that, the existing research has primarily focused on university students. So as a note, this thesis with the gap is focused on 11 grade students. The research is to identify and analyze linguistic and structural errors in paragraph writings, as well as challenges contributing to paragraph writing errors as perceived by students. Here is two research questions. The first question is what are the common types of linguistic and structural errors made by 11th grade Vietnamese students in writing English paragraphs? And the second one is what are the main challenges contributing to their paragraph writing errors as perceived by the participants? Move on to literature review. Here is the paragraph, the structure of the paragraph with topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence. By some researchers, there is two common errors in paragraph writing are divided into linguistic errors and structural errors. Main challenges in paragraph writing are limited vocabularies, grammar difficulties, and translation. In my thesis, I mentioned the four theoretical frameworks of Richard Dewey, Paris, Lewis Wang, but with the frameworks of Richard Dewey and Paris talks about linguistic errors, and Lewis Wang talks about the structural errors. But Richard talks about interlingual errors and interlingual errors. Some of the strategies based on my first research questions, I chose the Paris and Lil Wang to the main theoretical frameworks in my thesis. Move to methodology. My thesis employing is literary sequential methods. This design first identifies error frequency quantitative and then explore the challenges through interviews qualitative. The context, I conducted research based on the 40 grade 11 students from a public high school, and these students were selected to provide writing samples, and 6 students exhibiting frequent errors were selected for semi-structured interviews. Talk about the data analysis for teachers. Based on the framework of Paris and Lewis Wang taxonomies, I will collect the writing samples from students, and I count the frequency of errors on Excel, and after that I ran the Excel file on Minitab. With the interview transcript, I will pragmatic analysis to the findings and discussion. Looking at on the screen, we have I have the summary of the descriptive statistic and frequency of error analysis, frequency of error types. On the chart, we can see that the linguistic errors are more than the structural errors, and the most frequent errors is the orthographic errors. This is the linguistic errors. The most errors is the orthographic errors, and the second one is syntactic errors. With the structural errors, the most frequent errors is development errors, and the second one is coherent errors. My second research questions, the first challenge is a limited vocabulary. Some students said that they use the word repetitious, they have difficulties when choosing the vocab to write the paragraphs. The second one is grammar difficulties. From the interview, several students said that they had some difficulties in the tests, and sometimes they miss it out. And the last one is Vietnamese English translation. Several students said in the interview that they write the Vietnamese paragraph first and then they translate into English. And some of them use Google Translate to translate Vietnamese, and after that they write the English paragraph. Here's the conclusion. With my first research questions, linguistic errors, mechanical, orthographic, and syntactic errors are the most frequent, and structural errors are development errors and coherent errors. Challenges, we can see the limited vocabulary, grammar difficulties, and Vietnamese and English translation from student perception. With implication, we can paste the instruction in English grammar spelling and vocabulary development, and importance of teaching parallel level skill and reduce international English translation. Here are some limitations of my thesis. This is a limited samples, and with them external factors such as teachers' feedback on classroom environment, limited topics. My thesis just used the topics from the Global Success 11 textbook. Here is some recommendations from my thesis. Yeah. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. I'd like to invite Dr. Pipicon to give you comments and some questions.
Okay, so thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation. So first I would like to give you some comments towards what you have done. Okay. In general, the physics addresses a practical issue in English language teaching in Vietnam, right? So that is about the errors in paragraph writing made by grade 11 students. However, I think that the topic is not really new. So that's why you should highlight the research gaps or show how this study advances knowledge compared to previous Vietnamese studies. Right? And more discussion on why this error analysis is still important today, because a lot of, I bet there have been a lot of studies that conducted on this topic already. And in terms of methodology, there are several things that I think you need to improve. For example, how writing tasks were administered. Okay, what task conditions or resources. Okay, so where are the tasks from? And especially about the reliability. Okay, how will you make sure the reliability of your test? All right, and also about the students' background as well. Are they the same level? Even though they are at grade 11, right? It doesn't mean that they have the same level of English. Okay, so they have different background of English. It means that they have perform differently in the test. Okay. Okay, and yes, some concerns related to format. Okay, or some referencing or writing style. Okay, should be revised. So now I have 2 questions for you. So I will read the first question. Okay. So first question, question number 1 first. Since your topic is not new, can you explain what gap in knowledge of classroom practice your research addresses? Why do you believe it is still important for teachers and researchers to focus on this issue? Okay, first question.
Thank you for your questions. I will answer your first questions. Talking about the gaps of my thesis, because there are some research about this error analysis about writing errors. Writing paragraph is most of this research shows the university students for conducting the research there. In my thesis, I will choose the high school students. They have the background in English, maybe they have enough knowledge and they can write better. But some of the errors they will have can be cannot to
in terms of practicality, it highlights specific challenges faced by Vietnamese high school students, providing data-driven insight for teachers to enhance writing instruction. So recently they talked about we have one curriculum, but mainly textbook, and maybe that influenced a little bit on the error that students made. Regarding the methodology, the study employed a mixed method, explanatory sequential design, and this method is appropriate with the recent question you have given. Quantitative data from protein writing sample and qualitative insight from interview enriched analysis. The instrument, including textbook-based and interview, align well with the research aim. Regarding the finding, the study finds orthographic and syntactic errors are the most frequent, while structural issues like paragraph development also pose some difficulty. The result align with known error time that I contextualize for grade 11 students. Application include more focused vocabulary instruction and paragraph organization strategy in high school curriculum. Regarding the structure, the thesis is clearly organized into 6 chapters with logical flow from introduction to conclusion. The presentation is professional, using appropriate academic formatting, citation, style, table, and figure. However, below are some points that you can do to make your thesis better. The first one, in terms of the abstract, the first sentence in the abstract is quite misleading. So when you say that the study investigated paragraph writing challenges faced by 11th grade 11 Vietnamese EFL students, you already missed the first research question. So the first research question is error analysis, and second question will also address challenges. But this abstract, when I first look at it, I don't see the last one. So you may want to correct it. The second thing I suggested, in the table of content, I listed over here, and I'm going to give you the book later. You have part 2.1 paragraph writing, but you forget to include the subheading. Because with the subheading, the readers can have like everything included in paragraph writing, and you don't feel something missing over there, right? Just easy to do it. I suggest that each chapter should begin with a short summary to signal the reader what to expect in the reading. Also, for part 1.6, you put limitation of the study in the first chapter. I suggest that to be moved to the conclusion chapter instead of in the first chapter. And I wonder how you conducted the interview. I don't see clearly the description of your interviewee. How did you select the interviewee? How were the interview procedure being designed and conducted? You need to include that information. So my question would be, how did you ensure the reliability and objectivity of your manual error coding process?
Thank you for your questions. I will paste down the framework and premise and framework to categorize your errors and when it happens, I can categorize errors and even tries to do.
So maybe in the future, if you do the research and you need a second reader or second marker to help you to make sure you interpret greater reliability. If you do it only by yourself, people may ask whether is it reliable if you are the only one. Okay, please respond.
Thank you very much. Okay, so I'd like
To us, other members of our committee, do you have any comments and questions?
Yes, could you get back to slide number 2?
evaluate your thesis. So like the reliability. So better in the future, you should implement another one. If you can find a native speaker or those who experts in the field, in writing together with you to mock to check the error of the students. Another one is like you can go further beyond generally describing the error only. So you can go further looking for the causes. So the impact of like fourth language or some other factor on the error made by the students, like language background, age, gender, or something else. Another one is if you're writing, improve relevancy. Because like that's one of the minor error in your writing. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Danoptian, for your comments. And I'd like to give you some comments as well. The first one, I'd like to ask you, why did you choose to rely solely on interviews and not to include a survey to measure the frequency or intensity of the writing challenges of the students?
Talking about the interview, I will analyze the student writing first, and I will choose the student who has a lot of merits to the interviews.
Alright, so still I believe that the thesis would benefit from demonstrating how frequent or significant each type of challenge is based on the data to have a more data collection methods in order to gather enough data, because based on the 6 students for the interviews, we cannot have any like the relevance data in order to analyze the causes, okay, and the frequency of the errors as well. Okay, yeah, so something for you to think about and discussion with your supervisor, so that you can improve your thesis.